What's up, guys? In today's video we're removing some old elk antlers from the original skull plate and then we're installing them on a European replica skull. Super easy process, and I walk you through the entire thing. Let's get after it.
My name is Matt and I live for moments like these.
Guys, I killed the biggest buck of my life this morning.
I'm far from an expert, but using persistence and a little bit of luck, I'm able to make some pretty cool things happen. I do my best to capture the entire harvest, the kill, the prep, and my favorite part, the meal. Because to me, it's more than a hunt. It's man versus deer.
He is a mass monster. Holy cow.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you are new to the channel, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to check out a man versus deer video. I post a lot of hunting content, tutorials, things like that, but my bread and butter, my main thing I do is I love to post catch, clean, cook style hunting content. So if you're into that sort of thing, smack that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. If at any time during this video you're wondering about what kind of gear I'm using or where I get it, I do provide all of the gear I use via links in the description, and they are Amazon links. If you click on those links and you make a purchase, it does help me out just a little bit. Also, I do have these awesome looking hoodies and these awesome looking hats. I'll have those via purchase links in the description as well. Any purchases made directly support the channel and help me keep putting out videos just like this one. So like I said earlier, guys, in today's video, we're going to be taking some old elk antlers and we're going to be mounting them onto a Euro replica skull. Really awesome way to showcase these things, and super easy. I actually came to possession of these because I own a taxidermy business, and an individual reached out to me saying he had some old elk antlers. They'd been in his shed for a long time and wanted to kind of give them new life and hopefully put them on display inside of his office. So we rolled some ideas around and ultimately we ended up on a Euro mount replica as the best solution, and that's where this video is coming in. So I opted to do the Mountain Mike's elk Euro replica skull. It's the only elk replica skull that I could find. Cost on it was 99 bucks, and they look really good for what they are. They're super easy as far as the installation goes, which is what I'm about to walk you through, and ultimately a decent product if you're trying to make a Euro mount out of old elk antlers. So I'm going to walk you through the entire process step by step. Let's jump into that part of the video. Alright guys, I want to start this process off by showing you the front of the box, the back of the box, pulling everything out, and then showing you the contents that it comes with. It comes with everything you need to attach the antlers to the replica skull. That includes 4 different screws, 2 for each side, and some gap filler. You're also going to get 2 different tops to use. The bigger top is for more mature animals, the smaller top is for younger class animals. As you can see, they did not skip any of the details on the skull. The nasal cavity is nice and deep. They even got the canine teeth in the end, and the skull is actually separated into 2 pieces, the top and the bottom, as you can see from the crack there. The skull is really close to, if not life size. It's really big, and the antlers you're dealing with are really big as well, so you're gonna need a decent sized work area to put this whole thing together. These are the antlers that we're working with, 2 different sets, both attached to the skull plates. The first step in this process is going to be getting the antlers removed from the skull plates. Before we do that, I'm going to take some measurements real quick from tip to tip on the brow tine, from tip to tip on the next points up, and from tip to tip at the very top. I just want to keep this thing as close to original width as possible and keep it as close to the original shape as possible. The easiest way to get these antlers off of the skull plate is with a Sawzall. You want to take your time during this process and get a cut that is as flat as possible. You also want to make sure you don't get into the bottom of the antler burrs. When you get that antler off of there, the next thing I do is I take a sander and I make that bone as flat as I can, get rid of any edges, and make it as flat as I can right up next to the burr. Next thing I'm going to do is check sizing. In this instance, we ended up going with the smaller plate because these were younger animals, and we're ready to get these animals attached to the top part of the skull plate. So basically what I did here is I used the skull plate as a template and drilled my first hole. I did that for each antler. I didn't use the screws that it come with. They're too big, so I opted to use a wood screw of my own instead,
And basically what I do is I drill a pilot hole on each side and I get the antler in there. I tighten it up enough that it stays where it is when I leave it, but it's loose enough that I can kind of move it around. I get it in the shape that I want, and then I'm going to attach that other side the same exact way. Once I get a screw in each side and I get those antlers positioned exactly where I want them, I'm going to put my drill bit back on, go back in and drill out that second hole on each side, and then I'm going to put a second wood screw in on each side. That second wood screw is going to solidify these antlers in the shape that they're in, so make sure that they're exactly where you want them before doing this step. Once I've got both sides on there, it's time to attach the bottom piece of the replica skull to the top piece. This is done with 3 Phillips head screws, 1 in the back of the head and 2 in the eye sockets. This is when the project really starts to come together, and it's a point in the project where I stop and kind of look at everything and make sure it's exactly how I want it and where I want it. Once I got everything where I want it, I'm going to drill a pilot hole in the back of the skull. I'm going to flip it over, align it on a wooden plaque that I made, and then I'm going to drill the same pilot hole in the wooden plaque, and I'm going to run a screw from the back of the plaque into the skull to properly mount this thing. I actually make and sell this plaque, which is an elk plaque, and it works on actual elk European mounts too, but I have a ton of different plaques and stuff for sale in my shop, which you can find via links in the description. All in all, this came out pretty solid. It's pretty hard to tell that this is a replica from across the room. Of course you can if you're right on it, but it's a really, really awesome way to display elk sheds, or if you've got a set of antlers that you cut off at the skull base like these, it's a way to get them back on a skull and really bring them back to life. For 99 bucks, it's a really hard bargain to beat.
Well guys, that pretty much brings us to the end of this video. I hope it was informative. I hope that if you had a question when you clicked on this video that it was answered. If not, drop that stuff in the comments. I will respond to every question. If you're curious about the gear that I used or where to purchase this, I will have that stuff available via links in the description, so check that out. And if you're into taxidermy, specifically into Euro mounts, I'm going to post a video. It will show as this video is closing and suggested videos, and it is a step-by-step tutorial on how to do a European mount on any big game animal. The process is under 3 hours from start to finish. That skin on to whitening. Really, really cool tutorial. Make sure to check that out. I really, really thank you guys for taking the time to check out a Man vs. Deer video. Thanks for watching, and good luck in the woods.